you hear me okay? Everything's all right?
Yeah, your hair sounds amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm in a weird place with my hair this week. I've been thinking a lot about it, and I hope you'll include this in the show.
Absolutely.
It's like I wish it would get long, or it just you can't really see it, but it's just getting denser and more like I look like Toad from Mario Kart, and I don't like that. That's not the way I had it drawn up for myself. That's why I've been going to these protests.
I feel you, man. Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, I'm here. Sorry to be late, but I'm happy to.
I just want to get my chicken tenders from Ruby Tuesdays. That's
Oh my God.
That's why I fight.
They wouldn't have put that shit in the Constitution if it wasn't important, is the way I think about it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of the Old School Player of the Week. As always, you've got Riley down there somewhere, Ian up here, co-host. And this week joining us is our returning champion, David Roth, for either his 3rd or 4th appearance, depending on how we're counting.
I think, yeah, for video, it's my 3rd.
Yeah. And then somebody that may look familiar to a lot of you, it's Lauren Thiesen, who was Roth's, I don't know, what do you,
Co-host?
Co-host on Tormentor, yes.
Yeah, designated.
Torturer.
Yeah.
From Let's Remember Some Guys. Welcome,
lifetime.
Lauren.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me.
As huge fans of, Remembering Guys, we are thrilled to have you guys both.
I'm excited for this. Like an old timers game.
Indeed. Lauren, are you also in New York?
Yeah, I am. I'm in Brooklyn.
And how are you holding up? How are things in Brooklyn?
I personally am all right. My situation is, okay relative to that of a lot of other people. So I don't know. I feel like I mentioned this to Roth actually. Like this past weekend was the first where it felt like people had kind of decided that things are getting better, and I have mixed feelings about that. But I think it's undeniable that like things are better than they were in April, which is that's good at least.
Indeed. Again, that's why we're all fighting to open up the economy. I need to go to Fuddruckers whenever I want.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before I can get those mozzarella sticks.
Yeah. As prescribed by Thomas Jefferson, you're right. You're inalienable right.
Yeah.
To apps.
Both the kind on my phone and the kind that I can get 2 for 1 on a Wednesday night.
Yeah. The popcorn shrimp that so many troops have given the last full measure for.
All gave some. Some gave all. All right, enough shenanigans. Let's just dive into this dang thing. I'm going to see if I can remember how to share my screen. And then we'll do this thing and we'll remember some folks. I'm so bad at this, you guys. I apologize. Who made me the guy that was doing this? Yeah, here we are.
Oh, there it is.
See the thing?
There you go.
Wow. All right.
The whole PowerPoint.
We have a full Google Slides presentation, Lauren. Get stoked.
Amazing.
No expense was spared. All right, Lauren, you're up first. And the first guy that we're going to remember for you. Hey, look, it's Chris Shelton.
Oh, wow. What a beaut.
Do people remember Chris Shelton, or is that like a Detroit specific?
I do. I remember Chris Shelton.
Okay, that's good.
I feel like I sort of remember of Chris Shelton more than I remember Chris Shelton. Like he does look like a really old man.
Mm-hmm.
This shot, and this is actually one of the more attractive photos.
It looks like the
Shelton.
To me, it looks like the large baby that went viral. Back or months or however that was, but they just dressed him in his uniform. I'm also so glad you pointed out the font, because especially when we get to the back of it, like the font just pisses me off so much.
Yeah.
It is so grim. I do need to say that I was having an online discussion with some friends we were talking about the worst album cover designs of the best records that we know of, and a lot of things are getting tossed around, and we got into like sort of a side conversation about how the 90s and the 2000s just had horrible typography, and this is
it's extreme
lesson,
but it's more just confusing.
Yeah, and also they make up for it in volume. That like all the choices are bad, but there's like a half dozen choices happening simultaneously, which is not what you
like
want.
All caps for the last name, and I guess you would call that lowercase first name.
Yeah, but no spaces. Yeah, the space is Yeah, they forewent the space for the change in case. So
Also, the expression "R class," the classic term that gets thrown around all the time by baseball fans. Everyone knows what it means.
You got the R class, and you got the 2 class for the second-year players, and the 3 class, 4 class.
Yeah, he's not an S
you have
class grade guy.
Sixth form, right? 5th form and 6th form in the UK. All right. Well, Lauren, what drew you to this to Chris Shelton and to this card in particular?
Yeah, so Shelton had a fairly unremarkable career, except he hit, I believe, 9 home runs in the first 13 games of the 2006 season, which was like a total shock. Kind of came out of nowhere in a season that kind of the Tigers came out of nowhere. And so even though I don't think he even stayed up in the majors, he was playing first base and got replaced by like a midseason Sean Casey trade. He was still like the beginning of the Tigers being good in my lifetime, like he specifically going on that run. So I just have like semi-fond memories of him. And also I find it interesting that like, and I was mentioning this to you, Ian, like there's not a lot of like YouTube archives of anyone, or relatively speaking, any like kind of average to mediocre player played before like, 2008, 2009. It's like, I went and I looked and I found like 2 minutes of highlights from his like April 2006, kind of all put together in a package. But if he had played today, it would have been like, every single home run would have had its own like YouTube video and tweet and everything like that. And so I don't know, I was sort of drawn to that in a remembering sense that it's, he's a little bit lost to time compared to anyone who came years after him.
Yeah.
Right on the cusp there.
He was, when he had his breakout, I was working at Topps, and it was like the closest thing that you could get to like a stop the presses moment in the baseball card business, where they were like,
"Did they make a card of him?"
They wanted to make more. They basically were just like, "Are we like where are we on those Chris Shelton autographs?" And they're like, "I'm on it. It's hard as impossible. No, you can't get through." It was. They were pushing on that one because like. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, you might turn out to be Chris Shelton, but like, what if you're, first if he turned into Todd Helton?
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. I have a bunch of his cards still here in my home. Like somehow.
A bunch of his cards? Like how many?
Like there were a lot of his Bowman rookie cards just kind of sloshing around the office. And so, it's like you take 5.
I thought it was a good investment.
Yeah, that was the idea.
I'm impressed that it's even $1. I was thinking 25 cents maybe
this is like a limited edition thing, or maybe it's just font collectors, like people that like lowercase i's driving up the market. Oh no, I don't care for that at all.
The word pirates,
people do love the R class.
Gives me nightmares. Just that T that looks like Pirates. It's so much.
Oh whoa!
It's like one pixel away from being a weird B, right? Like if you just closed that
Shelton
Shelbin bearerized California League, like some weird YG lyric or something.
Yeah, those T's are really starting to fuck with me right now.
Yeah, and that's where I got like I don't know that it's specifically 311. But it triggered a 311 like response in me. Like it might have been like Head P or some other band from that from that orbit. But there's something
YG and Head P into what's the first part of your analysis. You're not even done.
That's how my brain works. I'm sorry. And now perhaps you'll subscribe to my new musical project Head G, where I do YG covers in the style of Head P.
It's a brazy idea.
It's brazy.
What I like about the R that we were talking about, it reminds me of how the Mets handled the problem of Travis d'Arnaud and Jacob deGrom having lowercase d's at the name, which is just turning a P upside down and ironing it onto the back of their jersey.
Is that for real?
Yeah, it's real. It's like
you can't say they're not resourceful.
Once you see it. Yep. Or is that the word that I would use? Maybe not, but it's not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hella cheap.
I can't stop seeing that B everywhere.
It's interesting though. Like I said, I looked at a bunch of other Chris Shelton cards, and this is actually the best he ever looked. He looked way older. He looked like a way older, like Benjamin Button type guy in many of the other cards. It's just like a weird body and with a weird head on it.
It's a
weird thing I didn't know until I looked him up for this was his cousin is Alex Smith, the quarterback.
Oh, really?
Well,
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
I'm particularly drawn to the mock turtleneck completing the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With,
it's
with
cool.
the
That's got to
logo
be
on it?
from.
Yeah,
It's got to be
most of the
probably
time
from like late September.
you get the mock turtleneck because you only want half a turtleneck. But it's getting all the way up there on him, which is.
I remember
maybe
Plastic
not the
Blanco
best
in like
thing.
cold weather in Detroit wore like a full turtleneck that went like up to the top of his head.
Yeah. It's an iconic.
Skin tight.
Yep. This is the thing he's wearing under his jersey there does not look like it would be approved for athletic use.
Like they sell it to grandpas at the Team Star.
Yeah, the gathered wrists and kind of like a faintly sweatshirty type material. Like it seemed like if you had to do sports in that, you would be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd be like bound up somehow.
Yeah, it's like the Maggie Simpson getting zipped into her snowsuit. But yet,
Yeah,
9
you'd be
homers in a month. You can't argue with that. So
Right.
No, you couldn't at the time.
It looks
Good
like
times.
it has a kangaroo pocket on it too.
yes.
That's where you keep the extra ball for when you're doing the hidden ball trick.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. We're moving on. David, you're up. And who have we got here?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Sorry, it's
Self-portrait.
it's Ken Phelps. I know you probably wanted Jay Buhner, but you're getting Ken Phelps. I was inspired to look him after Jerry Stiller passed. I went back and looked at A Moment from Seinfeld. Lauren was actually scandalized me by not being familiar with it because like Lauren was like a baby when that episode aired, if that.
I mean,
But
I've seen a decent amount of Seinfeld episodes, but this was new.
The scene where George Steinbrenner shows up at the Costanzas to tell them that George is dead, and Jerry Stiller yells at him about training Jay Buhner for Ken Phelps, is to my mind maybe the definitive Frank Costanza moment. And the more you know about Ken Phelps, the funnier it gets. Not because he was a bad player, which he wasn't, but because he looked like this. Like he looked like
Yeah, always look that happy.
kinda. It's the mustache. Because I have this when I let my beard grow. I usually will leave that level of mustache and then just like pester my wife for half an hour. That's just basic being married principles. It's a best practices thing. I don't even like it.
You
But-
don't let a mustache go to waste. Yeah.
No, yeah, you can't. It's like stupid. But to have it, if your mustache looks like that, you always kind of look like you're smiling. It's like, I don't know what it is, but like his mouth, you're just basically inferring a lot of it. You can't really see it.
Yeah, no,
But it's probably there, right? But you don't know for sure. 9
It's a
I love
cents.
that old Mariners
really-
logo too.
Yeah.
The Mariners logo is fire. The fact that it appears 3 times on this card is pretty sick.
Yep. The fact that
One
they like very
superimposed on the other.
very carefully like putting it over the other one so that you knew that he was on the Mariners. The glasses are incredible. I guess that was like the only type of eyeglasses that were available until like
You
1996.
couldn't wear those and actually play baseball, though, right?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Really?
Tom Henke did. All like guys that were like all-stars played, and it was just like the
So
windshield of a car on their face.
When did Sabo come along and revolution? He disrupted the eyeglasses game.
Yeah, that was like early 90s probably where
Oh,
people or maybe late 80s, I don't know. The Reds team that won a World Series, it was what year? Not 88, right?
Riley, do you recall?
90?
Yeah, I think it might have been 90. That like so that was like when he was sort of peaking out and everybody realized that the future of baseball was a short guy who actually maybe wasn't that good wearing exercise glasses.
Right.
And everything,
Just
you
from
know,
the racquetball court.
yeah. I actually, when I was playing basketball more frequently, obviously more frequently than I am now, but when actually getting in games and getting my glasses knocked off, I was like, you know what? I should get a pair of rec specs. I think it would be like strong for my brand and my self-image, you know, that like sort of reimagining yourself as a basketball player in your 30s requires like realizing that you're not the player you thought you were. And if I'm going to be like a hustle, like defense guy, then I should get the stupid rec specs. And the classic Sabo ones with prescriptions were like $300. Like those were like luxury items, and they remain luxury items somehow.
Damn.
What you should do is get glasses like these that are disposable, and then every game at the end you just throw them in the trash.
So I had the vibe as he's a damp double knit gym teacher. So he does look
Not
very
wrong.
moist. This is very moist. The glasses have the big gym teacher energy, and he was just sweltering in that uniform.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah,
no
does not breathe at all.
breathability. Yep.
None.
I had at least 2 gym teachers or football coaches who looked just like this.
Mhm.
And they could both deadlift like 400 pounds. It did not look like they should.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
we
have
had
that dad strength.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the one I think the most famous person from my town or to come out of there in the last few decades is the daughter of a gym teacher who had that same vibe for us. And she's like a Broadway star, but like her dad is a Ken Phelps guy who was like a football player at the high school that then came back to coach football at the high school. And yet, he's got a very creative child, so it can be done.
If you
Ken
pan
Phelps'
down,
kids might be singer-songwriters for all we know.
if you pan down, Ken is wearing those gray bike shorts that all the coaching.
Yeah,
players
hell yeah.
he had.
Coaching apparel.
Yeah,
It's important. How are you
gotta
supposed
love
to
it.
teach a health class if you're not wearing shorts that show
Right.
85% of your thigh?
And some just blindingly white turf shoes.
Smuggling plums.
Yes. There's a kid, there's this pair of like dirtbag twins that were a year older than me that I actually liked quite a bit. But I remember in a health class, one of the gym teachers, not a Phelps type, he didn't have a mustache, was teaching. It was like a sex ed unit. And he had his leg up on the desk. Very uncomfortable moment for everybody. So, because you're seeing it, it's here. And this kid, I don't remember which one of the Ramsey twins it was just reflecting light off his watch and like circling his groin with it. And everyone in the class was laughing. And the gym teacher was like, you know what? Because first of all, a lot of you are already doing this. And if you can't take it seriously, then you shouldn't be. Well, it just a spotlight on his dong. Tough.
Absolutely incredible. Well, R.I.P. Jerry Stiller. This is an interesting card in that the value is 9 cents. I believe this is the first 9-cent card we've had on the show.
Is this like the least valuable card that you've dealt with in the show so far?
I feel like, yeah, it might be. I feel like the least valuable ones were like 20. Seems to be like the floor.
Like the Bill Pacoda yellow Fleer card that you guys did last time. Like that is the least valuable cultural artifact I can possibly imagine. And yet, like, I don't recall it being less than 9 cents.
No, I think it was 20.
Yeah. It's tough. Twice as valuable as Ken Phelps. That's how many Donruss cards they made at that era, I think is mostly what it was. That there's like
so many.
Seriously 1 million of this card out there in the world right now.
You gotta love it. Riley is up, and Riley has a series. Riley, do you want to walk us through what we've got here?
Yeah, it was too hard to pick.
Whoa.
So these are the Skybox Thunder cards.
Skybox Baseball.
This is amazing.
Skybox
Yeah, there's
Thunder.
clearly a lot going on from a design standpoint. It's more fun.
Can we jump right to the poetry?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a fucking trash talk on the back.
The poetry is the key.
So some of these are like lines from a really shitty rap song. And then as we go through this series, they kind of lose the plot every once in a while, and there's no rhyming and it doesn't flow at all. So
Oh my god.
the key Mickey
Roth,
Martin
did you write any of
card.
these when you worked at Tops?
No, I wish. I think they probably they literally sent a poet. This was
So, oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow our minds. Ain't no doubt about it. You're one of a kind.
That's not how the song goes.
no.
That's flow, though. It really just rolls off the tongue.
I don't know who Jeff Kubenka is.
I think he was a Dodger for like 9 days
Okay.
or something. Did he deserve this?
We'd take you on our fly team any day.
Do any of us? Yeah. Wow. Our fly team. So this is it supposed to be raps? These are supposed to be raps.
I think so.
We do
so.
have more from which to sample.
Then they lose the plot here with Ugath and Nafi. There's no rhyming here.
Wow.
Joe W, you better join the circus because you've got skill for throwing flames.
Oh, that didn't age well. Didn't he set someone on fire?
Straight ridiculous.
Yeah, later in life. Foreshadowing.
Man, you're in fuego.
Yeah, they stopped mentioning the fire thing because that guy seriously did try to burn a dude to death. That's like he's in jail for it.
Very prescient.
No,
Is
Oogie,
Naked
rethink
Prose
this.
rhyming? Is that rhyming please with years?
The rhyme scheme is very loose, Lawrence. Do
Yeah.
not hold them to that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is incredible.
Just
It's
incredible.
pronounced Pleers.
There are quite a few of these cards, and because they are, I think, late 90s, 98-ish, 99.
99, yeah.
There's a lot of guys to remember. Like,
Brother, please. Your game's so tight. You'll be rocking with the Rockies for years. That's how tight your game is, brother.
That's a future Tiger too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
He ended up getting suspended for amphetamines.
No, maybe because he just loved to play at a high level, like with high energy.
The pressure on him, the future All-Star label, was really difficult to deal with from such.
Yeah. When somebody tells you early in your career that your game is tight and that you're going to be rocking with the Rockies for years, it's really hard to just like accept that that's really about you and that's what the rest of your life's going to look like.
We all struggle with imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
to one degree or another.
I didn't know that Skybox made baseball cards. Their basketball cards I was definitely like fond of because they
They're
were
good,
kind of slick. And they had like the early, like the first basketball ones they did like look kind of cool. They had a copper color border and like weird graphics in the back.
Are they completely different from this style, or were they all kind
Absolutely, yeah. Although they became, I'd stopped collecting by this point, by the late 90s, but there's some basketball cards from that era. I think I could go to the closet where I keep my cards and bring one out that are like equally psychotic, but they did not have like aesthetically psychotic, but they did not have little poems on
There's
them.
no hip hop crossover.
No, I mean, sort of vibe wise, but no, they did not bother to write bars for them.
Because we've
Riley,
already
how did you
talked
find
about-
this shit?
Just digging for shitty cards, and then I think Cut 4 did a piece on God, who was the guy? There's a Bruce Chen card with a rap lyric on the back, and then I was like, God, I wonder if that was just like an outlier card or if there was a full series of it. And there's a full series, but it's just insane to me that they didn't commit to the rap bit. They just lost the plot and started.
They did
It
like
would
the
be-
first 5, and then dude just got like ran out of ideas probably.
It would be so much better if all of the other ones had normal text on the back, but the Bruce Chen one was a rap.
I picture the guy doing like the magnetic poetry though, and just like rearranging baseball terms.
Yeah, this is cut
It's
ups.
like rap
It's like
terms.
David Bowie style.
This is situationism, you guys.
Yep.
Dada.
People didn't know that at the time. They just thought it was like a scouting report on a guy that was like in Fuego.
Yeah. So since we've already talked about shitty type design, I do want to point out the treatment of the R throughout.
Oh my god.
It's infuriating.
Weight too. The WT. That's
Oh yeah, the T's. I think I just saw more of the R's. So, and
Also,
I do want to.
that's B.
I've never. I do want to get back. Mickey Morandini was the Undertaker, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Miniature.
That's 100%
snack
the
size.
Undertaker.
Yeah. That's like if the Undertaker had to just do like all natural, like muscle milk and just weight training instead of the good stuff.
And was 5'11" instead of 7'4".
Somehow I saw I saw a Morandini like a weird like a cameo video maybe online where he was just like sitting on a porch in like Delaware County being like, hey, I hope everybody's having a good time out there, obviously wash your hands. Like someone had ordered it and it was just like a real folksy nice message from him.
Was he damned?
5 second. What's that?
Was he damned?
McQuaid? Yeah, kind of. Not in the way that he is here, because he wasn't exercising. I think he was just more like that's a sports dampness that you see on him in this card. Kabenka's a handsome Dan.
He's a good-looking guy.
Is.
Yeah.
Character actor, good looks.
Yep.
I'm into it. Not leading man, but yeah.
That's fine.
He's a B-side Andy Pettit.
Yeah.
All right, I already tipped my hand on this, David. I apologize. I'm terrible with this. I don't know why they let me drive the presentation here, but here we go. You guys, my old school player of the week. It's tight as well,
Unbelievable,
Oliver.
man.
Good call.
Wow.
Wait, so you gotta explain to me who this is.
It's Bosch,
David?
man. It's Bosch.
Is that the show that you're obsessed with, Roth?
No, it's not. It's not. It's a healthy interest.
It absolutely is, yes. So, of course, I looked high and low for some Bosch trading cards. They do not appear to exist.
Yeah.
Amazon has not come across with trading card money for their property Bosch.
Yeah.
But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., absolutely.
That's incredible.
The television show Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has its own set of cards.
Apparently they do, Lauren.
Not even just generic Marvel cards. It's this. Wow.
It is a specific Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. set.
Okay.
There are multiple. Like I've never watched. I've never seen either a second of Bosch. I've never seen a second of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But there are multiple characters, and
This
things.
is unreal. It also just looks like I know there aren't like stock photos of Bosch, but like that looks like a photo that like was taken at an event. Like it doesn't look like something that was done for the card. Like that's like somebody's wedding that he was in.
His wife's like,
they just
chopped out of it.
Yeah.
That's why it gets weird and hazy over on the one side of the card.
Yeah.
They had to remove his date.
That's cool that you can see why it's worth $20 though, because he autographed it right on the card. It's not that cheap shit where you had him sign a sticker. Like he held that card in his hand. And if you're a collector of Boschabilia, that matters a lot.
Is this guy famous? Like, should I know who this is?
He's like in a lot of movies and TV shows. I don't know if he qualifies as famous. Like Bosch is the first thing.
This is probably like the one time he signed an autograph. Like he probably doesn't get people coming up to him.
I don't know. Probably does get. I mean, like if I saw Titus, I wouldn't ask for an autograph, but I would probably ask him to say a Bosch thing to me. Like I'd ask for him
what is the Bosch catchphrase of choice?
He's got a bunch of little things that he does. That he's one of those guys that gets away with calling other people brother a lot, which is a hard.
Cop?
Yeah, he's a cop. But he does play by his own rules, but only because he is about getting to the truth. So it's about results for him, for Bosch. Titus Welliver.
Is that the catchphrase? It's about results?
No, that's that's the takeaway. That's what you get.
Okay.
There isn't really. I don't think I'm trying to think if there is a catchphrase. There really isn't.
No. I don't think I've ever derived more enjoyment from a thing that I have not seen ever than Bosch. Like I enjoy Bosch third hand so much. Like just from watching David, like reading other people's posts about Bosch are way more interesting than Bosch could ever be to me.
I honestly don't understand the irony level of my appreciation of Bosch at all, and I'm experiencing it. Like it's firsthand, and like it's like a real normal cop show. It's generally well done, and like it looks cool. Like as somebody that likes Los Angeles and hasn't really been more than 10 blocks from his apartment in 3 months, like it's kind of cool to watch in that regard. But yeah, it started out as something that like Kate watched it on an airplane and was like, I'm going to finish this season, and did. And it was something that I like made fun of her for watching because there's like the theme song's got like a saxophone in it and it's real moody and it's called Bosch and it's got like Titus Welliver as the lead. And then it went from being like something that I would make fun of to something that I would like sit in the same room and watch with her, to something that I would like sit and watch with her, but like not be on my phone or my computer. And now it's like, when a new season of Bosch gets announced, we're, high-fiving. I'm doing memes.
Oh, you're in this together. Okay.
Yeah, it is. And at this point, I'm completely a huckleberry for the guy.
Yeah, I binged I binged the first 2 seasons on tour and got pretty into it.
Yeah, it's competence porn mostly. Like he does a good job. The bad guys seem bad. Like, and again,
he's always in trouble somehow.
Yeah, people are always getting in his ass because he's too good at being a detective.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I think, kind of a relatable experience for me. Is the same thing with doing blogs.
Lauren, to your point, is he famous? I didn't know this, and I've never seen the show Lost, but apparently he was on Lost, and that was his first big break.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that either. I feel bad if he's like if I should know him, but
he's like a character actor. Like there's no reason why you shouldn't necessarily know who he is. Like he's in like Gone Baby Gone and does a good job in it.
His name is really memorable, though. I don't know that's what I would picture if I heard the name Titus Welliver.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he has this amazing, incredibly dramatic name, the actor, and then the character's name is Bosch, which is like the most boring monosyllabic thing ever.
Yeah. Well, the character's name is Harry Bosch. Hieronymus Bosch is his given name.
Hieronymus?
There's a whole
That's
lot of
joke.
shit. Yeah. Well, he had this
Yeah.
crazy life. I don't want to give too much of it away. It's based on like 65 Michael Connelly novels, which depending on how long this shit goes on, maybe that's something that we could all read together.
I
Or
smell
not.
a new
Or
show
not.
idea.
It's also just a show. Yeah. But
Bosch likes to come home and listen to a little smooth jazz after a tough day at work.
hell yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't he have a dog named Coltrane?
He does by season 7. Yes, he does.
Never seen a minute of the show. I know all this stuff.
Incredible.
All right, this is
Yep.
so. This is why the card is so valuable.
That's
Limited edition autograph card has been personally signed by Titus Welliver. I'll have you know.
Is that
As
his
agent-
passport photo?
yeah, but
Yep,
there is
clearly
another
a passport
guy
photo.
in that photo. You can definitely see that there's another person in it.
Yeah.
They've just sort of like drop shadowed over him.
The game
and then-
pressure, though. That's
Yeah, I thought I would include this other card. This is
Ooh, a
includes-
relic card.
It's a relic card that includes a swatch from a dress shirt that was actually worn on the
So
show.
good. That's
Show
fantastic.
worn swatch.
And authenticated. Just from, again, to
Authenticated?
take you
Absolutely.
inside the game. Someone was there and they watched him put the shirt on and then watched him take it off and they were like, all right, cool. Like now we
definitely
can
a
put
shirt
it in
that
a
happened
card.
while he was filming, or is it just a shirt that he wore?
Well, when they would do it at Topps, when they would do it with like jeans for celebrities when I was there, they would like bring them the jeans and have them put it on and then take it off. Like it wasn't the sort of thing where like once he got done doing an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, they were like, yo, we need that. So I don't think it qualifies as game worn that way.
Okay.
The fact that it says has been personally signed by Titus Welliver as Agent Felix Blake implies that he was in character
Yeah,
while
right.
signing the autograph.
Yes, it's been.
I couldn't
yeah.
read that autograph. It could be the character's autograph.
Yeah,
So indecipherable.
that's true.
I feel like
it's
that
really
says-
like
It says Peter Liu, Liu.
yeah, Petruzic is what I'm seeing. I don't know if that's right.
Petrovich.
Yes. What an actor. He's in character
yeah.
as Drazen Petrovic at that moment.
All right, we're back around to Lauren. And Lauren, we've got Mike
Oh my
Williams,
Nice.
Mike Williams.
another
yeah,
extremely niche Detroit sportsman. What can you tell us about him?
I guess so. So I went with like the rookie photo shoot stuff because I like had a lot of those in like 2005, 2006, 2007, like that era of like 10, 11, 12 years old where like, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I think other people I've talked with have felt this too, where you get like really into like the draft and recruiting and just like the nature of prospects in general, because you like, one, they're still older than you, so it's less weird, but also like you just buy into the hype so much. So yeah, I like stocked up on these like rookie photo shoot type cards. And Mike Williams specifically is like, I just still have such a vivid memory of the Lions like drafting him just out of nowhere. For those who don't know, he was like, along with Maurice Claret, he was one of the guys who sued to try to get into the NFL draft early and he failed. So he sat out a year, ended up still being drafted 10th in the first round, and the Lions picked him as their third first-round receiver in 3 years. Charles Rogers, Roy Williams, Mike Williams, just an incredible run of success. And he was a bust, but he just like stands out in my memory.
He was really big and really skilled and was an incredibly good college receiver from what I remember.
Yeah, he was great.
I wrote cards for him. I was at Topps when this was happening. And it
He
was
was
the same
definitely like
sort of
very
deal.
talented in college.
Yeah. But the detail I remember including was that he had his own website in like 2004 or 2005. Everybody was like,
GeoCities
that
site?
is a fun fact. Yeah, it was like something that his people had set up. So it was like bigmikewilliams.com. And then it
Nice.
might still be there. It's like the Space Jam site. It just has been unupdated. But
Yeah, I tried to come up with something snarky about this card. I actually, apart from the photo, and I assume that they had limited options because this was like
Yeah.
combine or camp or something.
It looks
the
like he's
design
going
is
as a football
cool.
player for Halloween.
yeah,
Yeah. And I assume that they had a very prescribed list of, section of photos that they could choose from. The card design's cool. It's kind of, the design stuff is big. The foil is kind of a lot, but I couldn't even come up with anything snarky to like rag on it.
Yeah. There was a phrase in the back that kind of grossed me out. I think that was like kind of the one thing that really stood out to me. I think it says he's oozing with talent,
Ooh.
No.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. He's definitely juicy with talent.
Sorry, I realized before we flipped that you could have written this. But,
Yeah, no, I didn't work for Upper Deck, so it was different. Mine was mostly would have been like his agent set up a website, and there you can find his blog posts. Mike
No,
Williams
you
will
didn't use the
surely
word
be
juicy
oozing
anymore.
content for years to come.
Well, Lauren, you did you preempted my question about how he was a 2-year standout, and that's if he sat out, right?
Yeah, freshman, sophomore, and then he tried to get into the draft with Claret, and there was a whole court case thing, and he failed. And then he ended up being Lions with Aaron Rodgers still on the board.
Some people would call that a mistake, but I don't think that Matt
I
Millen
don't think
would
it's
change a
quite
thing.
egregious in my book as when the Lions drafted Charles Rodgers, literally the next pick in the draft, the Texans took Andre Johnson. At least Rodgers was like a dozen picks later, but
Yeah. Well, Rodgers was really also very good in college, though, and he was like a local dude, and
he could have been the number one pick. But like weirdly, this seems inconceivable now, but like nobody else wanted the quarterback.
it's a very. I mean, you want to give the NFL execs credit under the only the most like generous of circumstances, but like it does seem like at least that's evolved, like the sort of thing where they're like, well, we already have like that's Elvis Gerback is under contract. Why would we draft a quarterback?
Yeah, the Lions had just drafted Joey Harrington, so
Yeah, they just and then you just got to give him weapons and let him cut
more
loose.
weapons and more weapons. And
Yeah, the same at the same position. So this more of the same type of weapon, I guess.
So do we have a sense of why Mike Williams busted out? Like, why, if he was so damn talented in college, do we know what happened?
I always chalked it up to the year off, but I honestly, I don't know. I haven't read too much into it, but yeah,
I think that's what it
career kind of wasn't.
that's how I remember it being sort of spun. I also think that he came back to the NFL after years away.
There's two Mike Williamses. That's might be
All
where
right, so it's not all right because like
there's a Mike Williams that came around like in 2015 or so.
Okay,
Is he a Tampa guy or like played
I
for
think
the Bronx?
so.
yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely more successful.
What do we make of this strange thing? Is this an artifact from
Oh yeah, that looks like somebody.
compression?
Bob Marley edition.
Yeah,
Right,
Is this
what is
supposed to
the
like
deal?
mimic film?
I
Like a
guess.
photo shoot?
Yeah, the photo shoot stuff was like it like as Lauren said, it was like part of like a brand of those would be like the first cards you'd get of a guy because they wouldn't have the licensing to put them in their on their college uniforms. So it would be like this would be the first photo of him dressed as an NFL player for Halloween. But
So it's supposed to be like a proof sheet vibe or something.
I guess I don't know that that's necessarily what you need, but there it is. I do like the Irie colorway. It's really nice though.
It was 2005. The world was just wide open possibility.
Yeah, put the Bulgarian flag on the back of a card. Fuck, who's gonna tell you no?
All right, David, who do we got here?
Well, it's Mike Fedders,
Yeah.
Ian. Thanks for asking.
Hell yeah, dude.
There's like so Mike Fedders is one of my personal favorites. I'm sure that we dealt with him in Let's Remember Some Guys. Lauren, do you have any recollection of that?
Yeah, this name sounds very, very familiar to me. The Edmonton Trappers, though, that is news to me. They're not still
Yeah.
around.
I don't believe they are.
Mm-mm.
That was so the fact that it's a minor league card is a little nod to Lauren's role, and I think probably the most uncomfortable video of my life, which is
Yeah.
when they had me open a pack of minor league cards from like 1993, and like
You
most
knew,
of those,
like, more than zero.
yes, I did know more than zero, but a lot of them were just like guys that would never make the majors, just like random dudes would be like, "This is Bruce Ozuna. Do you remember him?" And I'd be like, "No, I don't know who that is, man." And so I had like 7 pieces of gum in my mouth by the end of it.
Huh, that was a fun day.
Yeah, I remember walking back downstairs from the studio to the office area and finding that I was just kind of idly like massaging my sore jaw.
Ruined your jaw.
Yeah, it's bad. But Fedders, beyond being a minor league card, I love the picture of him because he's got, as you said, it is absolutely splitting the difference between like a guy that gets in a lot of fights at Tompkins Square Park, like with like people from Madball that he like was friends with like 2 days ago, or he's a small town cop.
Yeah.
But somehow he can be both of those at the same time.
Did you pick the mustache? Like, is the mustache part of the theme?
Sorta. I mean, it's kind of like I would say that I picked.
You throw a
Phelps
dart at
first.
the 1990 cards and you get a mustache.
Yeah, I mean, he had a mustache for a lot of his career, but most of what he's known for was his head would get progressively larger and softer over the course of his career. And then he would do, just like his features kind of would disappear into the center of a large, expansive face. And he would do this thing, relief pitcher always throw from the stretch, and he would sort of come set and then address the hitter with this like gerbil attack, like sort of face. And it was really, it's remarkable. I recommend the video to anybody. It's like 3 seconds long. If you look up like Mike Fedder's weird thing, like you'll probably find it.
Oh yeah.
How would you not laugh if you're in the box facing him?
Honestly, I wondered if
maybe that was the entire idea.
Yeah.
Intimidation, yeah.
Like your timing mechanism is so fragile, and so the idea of like this big porky dude making a like whoop face at you, it's like that would throw you off.
Yeah, he definitely looks like a singer for like Sheer Terror or Raw Deal or one of those bands from back then. I definitely see the cop thing too. He could absolutely be somebody who would pull you over and toss a gun in your passenger seat. And then
I like the hat a lot. I like the whimsical trapper on the hat. I wonder if you could get those someplace.
Is that problematic at all? Is that anti-Canadian sentiment?
What to be?
I don't think so. I don't really know what that is.
It's a trapper. I'm assuming.
It's like the Canadian version of like a 49er, I guess.
Yeah.
Sourdough Sam.
It's like a pioneer out there. That was because Edmonton for the longest time, really until the 80s.
Oh my God.
Was a pelt-based economy.
All right, we're going to move on. Riley, outstanding choice here. What can you tell us about this bizarre card?
That's Carson Wentz, guys.
Obviously.
Right?
I mean, but yeah, what else can you tell us about him?
I don't know. Looks normal to me.
I don't think it's looking anything to me.
Let me just turn my computer upside down.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I can see
so
it
obviously
now.
this is an error card. You'll see, like if you look, you'll see where Carson Wentz's legs should have been, but somebody else got printed under the foil.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody tell us who number 26 on the Bills was last year?
Is it LaShawn McCoy?
I think it's LaShawn McCoy.
Okay. So Carson Wentz is what you're saying.
No, I'm not seeing any Carson Wentz. You can it might be. Is this like a magic eye thing? Like the more you look at it, like eventually Carson Wentz will emerge.
It's about the Carson Wentz that you don't see.
Yeah, that's so true. The negative space. There actually is negative space.
Yeah,
exactly.
You need a black light to see him.
Yep. This is incredible. This is maybe the most egregious error card I've ever seen.
How does this slip through?
How does this happen?
First thing that I thought when Riley sent this to me was, is Panini producing these on purpose, like intentionally?
Oh, yeah. I remember there was a Jeter one with George Bush in the background.
Yeah. So those definitely, on purpose. And they were. That was like, the thing with that is like, what makes those cards valuable is that they're scarce. It's not that they're erroneous or whatever. It's that you correct it. Mm-hmm. So that those like where Topps would do those like whimsical things where they'd be like, for some reason, like George W. Bush and like Abraham Lincoln are watching a Yankees game and they're like really crudely photoshopped in. It's like, I mean, I guess you give them credit for doing something weird, but it doesn't really like add value.
Viral marketing.
Yeah. This right here is just an absolute total system failure at every level. Like this is like, there's a quality assurance department at every one of these plates. Like at least at Topps there was. They were, I liked them. They were all just like weird guys. But they'd read the backs but like editors would look at this. The front of the card's the part that people pay attention to. And like, as not to belabor the point, there's some very obvious mistakes happening here.
We know if there were like similar errors in this set, or is this like a weird, like one?
It's the only one I found.
Yeah.
So I actually, in my poking around, Riley, I did see somebody on eBay selling a 14 pack of error cards from last year's Panini thing for like a few $100s.
Wow.
So I don't know.
So presumably that means that they did actually put out a card with Carson Wentz like on it after that.
The The correct one exists. Yes, I was
Someone
able to
did
find the one
sideways
where his legs fit into the two vertical leg holes
Yeah,
that you see on the
you
card.
can kind of imagine what that card might look like.
Yeah, it looks like this. A guy,
Yeah,
about
it
to
doesn't
throw
have
pass.
like a sponge painted blank helmet space. Presumably there'd be an Eagles helmet there. That's another for instance that I'm guessing.
Right.
The best was when they tried to fix cards. The Bill Ripken fuckface card was one that there's like 15 different versions of it. They kept trying to fix it like in these like panicky moves. And I don't think that was on purpose. Like it was probably, it was a failure that it got printed. But then when they like had somebody like using whiteout or like trying to cut a notch out of it with a bandsaw, that's like you're really seeing Fleer doing their best and like failing badly there.
The rules.
Yeah.
It's how people react under pressure is the true tale of
that's what makes
man.
an MVP contender.
All right, we're moving on. I had to pick another TV guy for whatever reason. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
This is weird. I was actually looking for classic skateboarder cards, and they don't appear to exist. I really wanted, I don't know if you guys remember the classic Tony Alva photo where he's in the pool and he's showing you the bottom of the Alva deck. It was by, what's his face, that famous Lenny Friedman. The famous Lenny Friedman photo. I just figured that's an iconic photo. There's got to be a trading card of Tony Alva somewhere. And so I went down this weird rabbit hole, ended up with Motor Officer Jon Baker from the seminal show Chips. And
it's remarkable that you were
please.
like, I'm looking for something cool. And you found like the exact opposite of that.
So often that is what happens. Yeah, here's Motor Officer Jon Baker sidewalk surfing at a skateboard park, possibly in full pads. He's got the wrist guards, the elbow guards, the knee pads. He's
missing the most important pad, though.
Yeah,
the helmet.
Yeah,
that's a lot of
Is this
hair
from
up
a
there, though.
scene in the TV show, or did he just go?
Oh yes.
They shot. Okay.
No, this is from an episode. Chips was.
I'm out of my depth here.
Yeah, for sure. As am I, more or less. I mean, my brother was the big Chips head in our household, and he would watch it every week, and so I absorbed some of it. Like the one episode that I do recall in great detail is the one with Donnie Most, I think, where he played the satanic rocker Moloch.
Nice. They did a lot of. Every series had to do like a satanic rock and roll thing. There was. Like there's like the Quincy ME one where there's like where William Forsythe is like the leader of an evil punk band or something.
Yep.
I haven't seen that. I just know about it. That was like Gerard used to talk about it a lot when I wrote for Can't Stop the Bleeding, which is the only way I really know it.
And that was the impetus for the Spoon Song Quincy Punk episode.
Yeah. Yep. A good song.
And also it is a pretty solid episode all in all. Somebody gets knifed in the pit at a gig. Moloch's hit song was Devil Take Me, I believe.
What's it about?
It's about the devil taking.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So yeah, nobody really gives any thought to Officer Jon Baker. It's really all about Ponch, Eric Estrada. I mean, if anybody remembers anything about Chips, it's about Eric Estrada.
So this is from an episode though. Is he undercover here?
I assume so. So Jon Baker's John's thing was he was sort of good at everything. Like Ponch was handsome, but Jon was talented. So he would do like parasailing or jet skiing or skateboarding or like whatever, he could do anything.
Including skateboard.
Including skateboard, obviously. He's clearly shredding right
now.
This has a what's up, fellow kids vibe to it.
It is. I mean, it's everything that the phrase skateboarding cop promises. And somehow more.
I wanted to give Jon Baker some equal time, since Eric Estrada gets almost all the love.
Yeah. Well, he looks great. The only thing I could say for the photo is I wish it was from a little bit further away.
Yeah, I wish the background were somehow less compelling.
Yeah, is there a way to do that?
Yeah, we can Photoshop out that chain link fence so it's just an unbroken expanse of concrete, maybe?
Yeah, just colorless, empty concrete, devoid of humanity or any other feature. Now we're talking.
We'll get to work on that right away. I got my best guys working on that.
Yeah, just working in shifts.
Yeah. Well, y'all, that's it. We've come to the end of another Old School Player of the Week episode. Thank you, Lauren and Roth, so much for joining us. If you haven't already, and I can't imagine that you haven't, but please do go back and look at should people go back and look at the Remember Some Guys things, or shouldn't they?
Yeah, why not?
I don't mind if they do.
Yeah, I'm proud of them. They were fun.
They're fantastic. Clearly, we've taken a great deal of inspiration from y'all, and Riley and I are both huge
Thank you
fans.
for carrying that torch.
Thank you.
Somebody's got to do it.
Anybody have anything to promote?
You know,
Nah.
freelance things here and there.
Hydroxychloroquine.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a responsible choice.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm taking it. I've been taking it.
I've been taking zinc only. Should I jump on the other thing too?
Oh, you know what I actually have done like I know CBD is like quack shit, but when that CBD when that company like paid for our website for a week, the week of 420, I gave back by buying a dropper of that stuff, and I find it helps me rest. Yeah. So that's if we're gonna if everyone's gonna recommend a specious miracle cure, that's mine.
If Roth is recommending CBD, I'll recommend THC though.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that one too. Mm-hmm. Harder to get.
Equal time.
Yep.
Follow Roth and follow Lauren on Twitter. You can follow Productive Outs. Riley and I do have a Patreon for Productive Outs. It's at patreon.com/productiveouts. We would love it if you would contribute. We're going to record a premium episode this week and put that out as a podcast. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you both for appearing. And everybody be well and stay home.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.